Elite teams don't just have an X factor. They have an X, Y, and Z factor. And despite what the media is telling you about Alabama, they've got the entire alphabet covered. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to a Way Offsides pop-up, and happy Friday. The weekend's here, which means one thing, we're that much closer to Alabama football. 2 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be watching the Crimson Tide, at least the 2024 edition, take the field against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. You've heard the names: Ryan Williams, Kobe Prentice. Who else? Kendrick Law, right? You've heard the names. You've heard the names. You've heard all these people, all these pundits, these people who get paid the big dollars say Alabama doesn't have the pieces. All they have is Jalen Milroe and Malachi Moore, says the Gary Busey lookalike. The guy that looks like he's been on a 5-day bender, left his wife and kids for a bottle. That guy. You've heard all the talk. Alabama doesn't have the pieces. Alabama doesn't have the wide receivers. They don't have the depth. They don't have the talent to do what they need to do to compete for a national championship, much less a playoff spot. Well, they're going to be 7-5. We've discussed in the past Kendrick Law. Kendrick Law is our official X factor going into the 2024 season. You all know that. But before we get to our XYZ factor, somebody you probably forgot about, we need every Alabama fan in here. You guys know the drill. I know you hate this part of the video. You're probably going to skip it. I encourage you not to. Instead, I ask you to please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, talk to us. If you're watching us on any other social media, go over to YouTube. Do the dang thing. Please, we need you. Interact with us. Tell us your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I just talking out of my rear end like Gary Busey? Or do I know what I'm talking about? You guys have likely seen the depth chart for Alabama, what's expected to hit the field, right? Especially at the wide receiver position. We all know that Alabama lost Jalen Hill due to an injury. That is likely going to be a season-ending injury. But keep an eye out for him going into next season. The names you're hearing about coming out of fall: Kendrick Law, of course, Ryan Williams. Everybody's talking about Ryan Williams, Kobe Prentice. But there's a guy that's been with the Tide for 2 years. He was a running back in high school. Alabama brought him in, converted him to a wide receiver. And just looking at the guy kind of reminds me a little bit of Devontae Smith, just in stature. And yeah, he's just tall, long, lanky guy. But Mr. Emmanuel Henderson, the silent assassin you probably forgot about. You got to love that thumbnail, by the way. I'm really proud of that edit. So I will take all of the pats on the backs that you have for me in the comment section, please. But Emmanuel Henderson, Emmanuel came to Alabama 2 seasons ago. His first season at Alabama he didn't light it up. I believe he had like a single catch for 14 yards. But last year, he was kind of up against the curb with some injuries, had a lot of special team work. But a lot of the talk regarding Emmanuel Henderson coming out of practice suggests that Emmanuel Henderson Jr., the Alabama wide receiver, is a star in the making. The once 3-sport high school athlete who played basketball, ran track, played football, obviously, is making some noise with this offensive staff at Alabama. And in the unit, in the style, the scheme that they're running, that's noteworthy. He's got an explosive skill set, says Sports Illustrated. He's a former 5-star playmaker. He's ready to excel as a wide receiver. Says touchdown, Alabama. He's ready to showcase quote unquote 99 speed, says Sports Illustrated. But nobody's talking about him. Why? Well, part of that's because everybody's talking about Ryan Williams. And understandably so. Ryan Williams is phenomenal. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be a great one at Alabama. But the speedster out of Hartford, Alabama, former 247 actually has him as a 4-star with a 97 overall rating. He was the number 2 running back in the country, actually. Like we said, Alabama moved him over to wide receiver at 6'1". He was at 6'1", 187. Probably put on a little bit of weight. But at Alabama, he is now a junior. And I've talked a little bit about Emmanuel Henderson earlier in the year, maybe right after Nick Saban retired. Hey, keep an eye on this guy. He's going to be phenomenal. Once he's healthy, the guy's skill set is it's exactly what you would expect from an Alabama wide receiver: speed and explosiveness, long, rangy. He's a natural pass catcher. Right. He's got very good top end speed, room to improve, but he's been in Alabama for 2 years. Some of this is from Gabe Brooks, 247 sports analyst. Gets bounce happy at times, is likely at least in part to individual dominance versus small school competition. One of the nation's top backs, but as we said, Alabama did recruit him as a wide receiver. The guy runs, he's fast. He's got a 11.400 as a sophomore. He's got a long stride, very long stride runner. Hopefully up here we'll have some highlights from Mr. Emmanuel Henderson Jr. And he's just somebody that nobody's really talking about. And I find that very interesting. We've talked till we're blue in the face about Kendrick Law and Ryan Williams, just as well as everybody else. And for good reason. A lot of people are really excited about Kobe Prentice. I think Kobe Prentice, Caleb Odom is another one. The freshman star coming in that's been making a lot of noise. Everybody saw the one-handed grab in the scrimmage video. But I'm telling you right now, Alabama has a plethora of riches at the wide receiver position. It doesn't matter what everybody in the media is telling you, what they want you to believe. They're wrong. They're wrong, and it's wishful thinking from a bunch of babbling baboons, from a bunch of moronic morons. Alabama, as a whole, not just in the wide receiving core, will field more talent in terms of star ratings, and this per the big guys, rivals, On3, 247, than any other team in the country. Still. Right, but everybody wants to talk about the wide receiving rooms at Texas, at Ohio State. You guys act like Alabama doesn't have a very strong history of producing first-round talent at the wide receiver position. Like, people still don't want to go play there. You take that, and then you add Kalen DeBoer and Coach Shep to it, who have proven that they can get there. They can get to the big game with less talent. They can produce NFL talent at the wide receiving position. People want to play for them. That's why Emmanuel Henderson stayed. The dude's going to be a monster. If Kendrick Law is the X factor, Ryan Williams is the Y factor, Emmanuel Henderson is the Z factor. That's what we'll call him. We'll call him the Z factor. Hey, do me a favor, if you haven't yet, please consider becoming a member. We've got 2 different levels of membership. You can do this via YouTube. You can subscribe as an underclassman or as an upperclassman. Obviously, you get more perks as an upperclassman. We did drop some new merch today. One more limited time seasonal design. So if you haven't checked that out, you're missing out. But I'll show you the other stuff we've got on deck. I'll link the store in the description below. You can also find it via our YouTube channel. Anything you buy helps out the channel. It helps us produce more content. Help us. Subscribe, share. You got a granddaddy that likes Alabama? Show him how to use YouTube. Make him an account. But listen, everybody, on a serious note, Emmanuel Henderson is he's one of the names that's flying under the radar. And I think that going into the 2024 season, that is going to be used to Alabama's advantage. If we recognize it, you better believe the coaching staff recognize it. And a lot of the talk coming from Coach Shep, Kalen DeBoer, out of these fall practices and fall camp is that Emmanuel Henderson is the real deal. The real deal. Smooth route runner, explosive, top end speed. So somebody to keep an eye on. Somebody to keep an eye on. The silent assassin that nobody knows about. Hey, everybody's got their eyes on Ryan Williams. He's a diversion. Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited. Are you excited? Yes, of course you are. As always, you guys know the drill. Say your prayers. Read your Bibles. Wash your hands. Horns down. Bump them trees. Beat Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee too. Like and subscribe. Do all the things. We'll see you Wednesday night for After Dark. Roll Tide.